What is going on, guys? Eric White in the building once again. And no, I did not choose my last name. And today we're going to be talking about what is in my camera bag 2020 edition, or technically the first edition since I've never done one before. And spoiler alert, it's actually not as much as you think. What is going on, guys? So today's video is going to be about what is in my camera bag for 2020, and it's my first edition because I could have did it last year, completely didn't think about it. So I'm going to be doing it this year, obviously. So this is what's in my camera bag and the things that I've been using for the past 4 or 5 months or so. And like I said at the beginning, there's actually really not that much to it. It's probably only a total of maybe 5 to 8 things, and 2 of them I literally just got within the past month or 2 months or something like that. So yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, starting off with the bag itself, it's not anything special. I literally just picked it up from Amazon. I looked up camera bag, looked at the reviews, and I just picked one because I didn't need one that was over $50. I didn't need one that did a bunch of different things. I'm still kind of in the beginning intermediate phase of my career of photography and videography, so I just wanted something that was going to hold the camera and the gear that I had for it and not be anything too expensive. So this right here is the Tahoe BP 150. Really nice bag, has some really cool features to it. It has these little straps on the side just in case you want to put a tripod in there, which I haven't done yet, but I'll assume it's really nice. Now, it also has these cool little zipper pocket up here, which I put SD cards and step-up rings, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And that just helps me, quickly shove things in there. If I don't want to open up the entire backpack, I can just shove things right in this little pocket right here. It's just really nice. The next pocket, I actually have some things organized in here. This is actually one of the things that I just recently realized that I probably should start using, and this is a portable battery. So the X-T4's battery is great, but sometimes you can be in a video shoot all day. I only have 2 batteries, and depending on how long you're shooting, probably around 5 or 6 hours, you can start really wearing down the battery. So I plug this into the camera, turn it on, and it just starts charging the camera immediately. So this is really, really nice to have. It's only a 3000 milliamp hour portable battery, so that's pretty much all I need for the most part. Even for an all-day shoot, I don't need too much. The next thing that it has is this dongle. Now this, if you guys watched the last video, you know that the Fujifilm remote camera app is terrible and it doesn't allow you to transfer raw photos to your phone to edit. So if I'm out and about and I want to edit the photos immediately, I use this dongle. It's an SD card to a Lightning. So I can plug this into my phone, put the SD card in the bottom right there, open up Lightroom and transfer the files, and it's really nice, super easy, super fast. I literally basically can't live without this. I take this with me every time I have my camera out with me, so always take this with me. And yeah, overall the backpack is just really, really nice. It has some side pouches right there if I want to put a water bottle in there or anything else that I really want to put in there. The straps are nice. The only bad thing that I don't like about it is it's kind of really just square-ish. It really sticks out. But besides that, it's a really nice backpack, really lightweight, pretty durable. I actually had this out in the rain a couple days ago and it was perfectly fine. I don't think it's rain proof. I wouldn't, dunk this thing in a puddle, but for what I've been testing it with so far for around 5 or 6 months or something, it's held up pretty well, so I think that's worth mentioning. Now, the first thing that is pretty obvious and the biggest thing that's most important to this whole camera bag is the camera that I use. And because it's recording me right now, I can't hold it up and show you, but it's the Fujifilm X-T4. You guys know about this if you guys have been on my channel for a while. I love this camera. I also hate this camera at the same time. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a video right up there that'll go to show you what I'm talking about with the gripes and concerns. But for the most part, the camera is great. 10-bit 422, 4K 60, great codecs, 26 megapixel sensor, flip out screen, great battery life. There's a lot to like about this camera as a whole, and this is the main camera that I use for video shoots, photo shoots, client work, just all types of work, even for work. This is my camera that I use for basically everything. So it's a great camera, still has some complaints, but still overall enjoy using the camera. Now, the main lens that I use for the camera I also can't hold because I'm using it right now to record, is the 24 I almost said the 24 megapixel, the 24 millimeter f2.8 lens from Canon. So I actually got this lens a while back, like I want to say at least over a year ago, and this is basically what I use for everything: my talking head shots, my vlog shots, and this is basically lives on my camera. I almost never use the second lens that I have. This lens comes in at around $120-ish. I could be wrong, but I got it for around $118. And I think that's a great steal for the type of versatility that this lens offers. It's a 2.8, so it gets fairly wide open, and it lets in a decent amount of light. It's 24 millimeters. The thing that sucks is that I'm on a crop sensor camera, so it's not necessarily 24 megapixels. It's actually 24 times 1.6. 38.4. So technically, this camera is, with the lens on this specific camera, with the crop factor that the camera has, it is a 38.4 megapixel. It is a 38.4 millimeter lens because you have to factor in the crop that the camera does. On a full frame, it would be 24 millimeters, which is plenty for vlogging and any type of other, shoots that you want to use it for. Now, the second lens that I have, I don't use it often, but when I do, it reminds me of why I love using it so much, and it's also another Canon lens. This is the 50mm 1.8. This lens is like a nifty 50. People know about this lens. It's a really, not really old, but it's a fairly old Canon lens. It's very dependable. This is like, I see why people love this lens so much. It's very, very sharp, even at all the way open up at 1.8. Extremely sharp, nice color reproduction. The bokeh is nice, but it does have some weird artifacting and weird noise issues that I've recently noticed on my camera. That's probably a whole nother issue that I don't want to get into, but for the most part, I love using this. I really love using this. It's very nice and sharp and wide open. It's really light too. It's not too heavy. It's not super bulky. And yeah, I really love using this lens. Like I said, every time I use this, it reminds me why I love shooting with it. I can't use it all the time because it's 50 millimeters, and on this lens, that's about like 2 cropped in. So I don't really use this too much, but when I use it for detail shots or just other, portrait shots that I want to get, it looks amazingly beautiful. Like, I love using this when I actually have the chance and have the opportunity to shoot with this. Now, this lens I actually ended up picking up for around $83. I actually got it on sale. It's usually around the price that the 24 mil comes in at around 110, 120, but I found it on sale for $83, immediately snagged it, and I've been happy ever since. So I definitely think this is something, if you have a Canon lens, even if you don't have a Canon lens, I'm adapting it to my Fujifilm, and the autofocus is okay for the most part. I think this is a great lens to get even if you don't have a Canon camera, so my go-to. Now, the next piece of equipment that's in my camera bag that I use for all of my vlogs, this thing also lives on the top of my camera pretty much everywhere I go, is the Deity D3 Pro. Now, this mic comes in at $200, so it's definitely not cheap, but I think it has some really useful features that sets it apart from a lot of other mics that I could have chosen. Now, this mic has one really cool feature that I really enjoy, and that's the gain dial right up there. I don't know if you can see it, but it allows you to adjust the gain manually on the microphone itself instead of having to adjust the audio levels inside of the camera, which can sometimes yield really noisy results, and it just makes the audio sound not as good when you're doing it in camera. So being able to have that gain dial on the microphone is very nice. The other thing that it also has is this dual adjustable tightening screw. So this bottom part tightens to the camera, and this top part tightens where you want the mic to slide. So if I loosen it, it adjusts how far the mic goes forward on the camera. So if it just so happens to be in the shot right there, you can move it back just slightly, tighten it up. That's the loosen. You tighten it up right there, and you'll be all too good to go. It's locked in place. And then obviously you tighten the camera at the bottom part right there. So really, really nice. Really like this mic. It also has an auto on and auto off feature. So if you put this on your camera, you turn it on, it'll automatically turn the microphone on just in case you forgot to turn it on yourself, which can literally save you tons of headache later, instead of just turning the camera on, talking, vlogging, getting home, editing the footage, and then realizing that you didn't have audio because you forgot to turn the mic on, or even worse, not remembering to turn it off. And then once you try to set it up or turn it on for the next set of video that you have to do, it's dead because you completely forgot to turn it off. So those features are really, really nice. It also has a low cut feature, so in case you want to cut out the wind noise or anything like that, really nice. Now there is a catch for this, and I said this in my last video if you did not watch it. If you have a Fujifilm X-T4, you have to be careful to make sure that you get this cable, which has the 2 rings at the top right there. That's going to ensure that it actually works, because if you use the 3-ring cable, the TRS or TRRS connection cable that this mic comes with, it's not going to work at all. It's just not going to work on Fujifilms. I don't know why, but that's just how it is. So if you get this mic, make sure that your camera actually supports it so that you can actually use the auto on, auto off features and some of the other cool features that the mic offers. Now the other mic that I have, I don't really use it too often. This was kind of my beginner mic when I first, I don't want to say beginner mic because it's just a mic, but this is my budget friendly mic that I used way before I actually got that mic. I only got that mic a couple months ago. This is the Rode Video Micro. Now this is actually the cord I ended because I'm using it for the Deity D3 Pro, but this is also a great alternative to the mic that I had before if you don't want to spend too much money. This doesn't have any nice features. This is just simply you plug it into the camera and it works. The audio quality is good. It's going to be way better than using the audio quality coming straight from the camera. So yeah, this comes in at around $40 or $50. I want to say around $60, and I think this is a great option for a lot of people. This is my backup mic just in case something goes wrong with my Deity D3 Pro for any reason. The battery dies. I forget it at home. Just if anything goes wrong, this is my backup mic just in case I need it. Now the next set of things that I use in my camera bag is kind of weird, but you definitely want to look out for these and make sure you buy these if you are in kind of that realm of videography, and that is a step-up ring. Now this step-up ring is really cool because it allows you to adapt whatever length of the lens that you have to another accessory for your camera. So for instance, the lens that I'm using right now is a 52mm diameter lens, meaning that the opening to put things onto the camera is 52mm. But let's say I buy an ND filter, or there's an accessory that I want to buy that only standards out and the lowest that it goes to is 72 or maybe even 77. You're kind of stuck because 52 and a 77 are not going to work at all. What you can do is get this step-up ring, and you can get an ND filter, and you can screw this on just like that, and now you basically can adapt this to whatever lens you want to put it on. So I can go ahead and put this onto my 50mm lens, which I do this literally all the time, and now it doesn't fall off. It's perfect. And now I have an adapted ND filter to my 50mm lens, and it works perfectly fine. I do this for basically all of my gear. I get a step-up ring. If I decide to get a new lens, I always get the lens and the step-up ring, just because it's a lot easier to do it that way than buying an accessory or an ND filter for every single diameter or millimeter length of your lens, if that makes any sense. And it's just way cheaper that way. So I definitely recommend you get some type of step-up ring if you have the ability to. They're literally only like $2 or $3. I got a 2-pack for like $3. I think they're super cheap and definitely worth the money. Now the next thing that I have in my camera bag that's more of a stylistic choice, if you will, definitely not necessary, but I really like having it because it adds a very nice subtle touch to the videos. And you probably didn't even notice that I took it off of the camera to talk about it, and that is this Moment Cinebloom filter. Now Cinebloom just recently released these about a month ago. Literally the second I saw the ad and the video for it, I bought it. Probably not a good decision, but it's whatever at this point. They come in at 2 strengths. They have a 10%, which is more subtle, and a 20%, which is really stylistic, and it really adds a nice effect to your videos and photos. I went ahead and went with the 10%, and I'm really happy with this so far. Now, like I just said, you probably didn't notice the subtle change that it added to this video compared to the last 5 minutes of the video, because it's so subtle, and I really like that about it. It's not too edgy and too stylistic to where you feel like you're in a completely different world. It just takes the edge off of the sharpness of the camera just enough to make it feel a little bit more authentic. Sometimes camera sharpness can be a little bit too aggressive and very sharp, and some people do like that. Some people like it to be completely tack sharp, and you can see every single pore and every single hair and every single detail and stuff like that. I'm not a huge fan of that. I do like having things in focus and sharp, but I don't want it to be so much to where you notice it too much and it kind of takes you out of the video a little bit, or even the photo. So I like adding this to my photos, basically all my photos, and especially to video, just because it blooms the highlights and it makes everything just look really nice and creamy. So I pretty much take this with me wherever I go. I take this thing everywhere. It basically lives on my camera with my 24mm lens, and I really like this. Really nice build quality, and yeah, $70, I think it's pretty worth it. Now, this is one of those things, along with the Cinebloom filter that I showed you guys just a few moments ago, that I picked up in the past couple of months, mainly because of after playing around with the X-T4 for a little bit and figuring out why, you know, I didn't like the image. It was because of the IBIS, and it was kind of messing up some of the images a little bit for me and some of the videos for me. I went ahead and picked up the DJI Ronin SC to kind of help compensate for that, and it's honestly just nice to have something like this for different types of shoots. Now, like I just mentioned, this is relatively new. I literally just got this like a month ago. I haven't had too much time to test it and see like what it's capable of and what it's not capable of. That will be a review soon, but I did want to go ahead and mention it because it's now technically in my camera bag, and I do take it with me on video shoots now. And just, yeah, I really like the overall build quality of this thing. From what I've tested from it, really nice gimbal so far. Surprisingly, it can hold my camera, which I thought was going to be an issue because the weight capacity for this is only 4 pounds, and the camera that I have right now, the X-T4, is already at 1.5–2 pounds. So the good thing is the lens that I use is only less than a pound, so it balances on my camera perfectly fine. Very nice build quality, really nice to use. The app itself is really nice, has some really cool features, smart features for it that will actually be useful to someone who shoots a lot with gimbal. So yeah, very happy with the gimbal so far with the couple weeks that I've had with it. Still gonna test this thing out and see what it's capable of, and definitely do a review of this probably in the next few months or so, so definitely be on the lookout for that. But that is gonna do it for me, guys. Thank you guys for watching the videos. That is everything that I have in my camera bag, and like I said, it's really not that much. I could easily buy a bunch of more stuff and just keep on adding to the camera bag, get a more expensive backpack, get another lens. But I think it's better to be minimalistic about your approach, because you don't want to have your workflow slowed down by having too much gear, or, you know, it's just not good to have a bunch of stuff that you're not going to use in general. So I'm pretty happy with the way that my camera bag is set up right now. It's definitely going to change in the future, starting with the camera. I might switch that out in a couple of months or so. The lenses are probably going to stay the same, but for the most part, this is what I have in my camera bag for the end of 2020. So like I said, that's it. That's gonna do it for me. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you guys liked the video, make sure you go down below, click the like button, turn the blue. If you guys are new, hit sub and join Innovation Nation. And just like always, I see you guys in the next one.